would you like? Kim, would you like to start us off with a joke today?
Certainly, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and I don't know if you have any honored guests online. The joke of the day is, why did the bicycle fall over?
Trying to
It
think of a
was
pun.
Oh, it's
it
in
was
there.
tired. It was tired.
Because
It was too tired. It was too
because you,
tired.
yeah, because it was too tired. All right, one more, because I know we have two speakers today, so I'm excited for that. Why did the Scarecrow win an award?
He was outstanding in his field.
Oh man, are you looking at the same? Are you looking at the same AI jokes I pulled up? Darn, that's great, awesome.
I love it.
Th-
I love it.
Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Your delivery is awesome. All right.
This is where you are, Tori.
What's that? Bucky?
You're sitting here.
That's where the name tag was.
Okay.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
All right, so we have two speeches today. First up is going to be Teresa giving a speech online, but who is the evaluator for Teresa? That's Kathy. Kathy, would you like to introduce Teresa? Oh wait,
Introduce the roles first.
I skipped this last time as well. Let's go ahead and
Right under the toast.
talk about rules. So who's going to be doing table topics today? Would you like to tell us, James?
Yeah, thanks, Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmaster. Honored, or no honored guests, I don't think. Not today. But yeah, we'll do table topics. Give everybody, or not everybody, but selected individuals a chance to speak off the cuff on a topic of my choosing. So see how people do unprompted or with little prompting. Talk for 1 to 2 minutes.
Awesome. Thanks, James.
Is there an additional agenda floating around? Thank you.
Our Augramarian today is going to be Zadie. Zadie, you want to tell us about your role?
And fellow Toastmaster. As my role as the grammarian off-counter is to introduce the word of the day and encourage the use of speakers, evaluators, and table topic participants. I will note who uses the word of the day or derivative of it correctly or incorrectly. That word is prolific. I listen
Could you repeat that? Yes, I did.
Prolific.
Yes.
Prolific. Sorry.
I heard.
I will listen to word usage and note any awkward misuse or spectacular use of the English language. I will also note words and sounds used as a crutch or pause filler, such as and, well, but, or by anyone who speaks during the meeting.
Do we have a definition for prolific and a
Definition, well, in a sentence, it would be as a poet whose writings were prolific.
Lots of.
Abundant.
Some.
A lot, yeah.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah. So the definition, according to AI, someone or something that produces a great number or large amount of something. It usually refers to high productivity.
Absolutely. And for today, our timer is going to be Rachel.
Yes. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. It's timer. I will time table topic speakers. The goal is for everyone to hit a minute if we get to table topics, and hold the cards up. We all know the warning cards. Red is wrap it up. Let's see. Speeches 5 to 7 minutes of length. So at 5 minutes, the green card, 6 minutes, a yellow card, and 7 minutes, you get the red card. And evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes is a green card, 2 minutes, 30 seconds is a yellow card, and 3 minutes is the red card. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. And last but not least, this will be our general evaluator, Brandy. You want to tell us what your role is today?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. As the general evaluator, I will be evaluating our meeting from start to finish. I will be calling up the reports of the timer and the augmentation. And then I will also be looking for any potential feedback I can give our evaluators on the speech evaluation today. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you guys for explaining your roles. And back to the wonderful Kathy to introduce Teresa today.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Today I have the honor of introducing Teresa M. Staal-Cowley. She is speaking today on the principles of pruning. As a gardener and a lifelong learner, she is definitely an avid gardener and a lifelong learner. Welcome, Teresa.
Thank you, Kathy Cross-Reese, for being my evaluator. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. And thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So I brought a prop as an example of pruning. This is a grapevine. These are the leaves. And what I do every year is I prune my garden. I prune my grapevine, my apple trees, my berry bushes, because as a prolific gardener, I want to not allow the branches of the grapevine or the branches of my trees or bushes to be so prolific that it doesn't go to the fruit. So you prune off something such as the branches that have no fruit, no flowers, and then all the energy goes into the fruit. With pruning, what I also do is at the end of the season, so in the fall, for instance, with a grapevine, then the vine will start dying. And this vine won't be green anymore. It will get very woody. So I prune those off, and then I make grapevine wreaths, and I sell those or give them away. Another thing that you could do with the leaves, it's a really common Greek recipe. It's called dolmas, and they just roll up the leaves. They put meats and rice and spices and things like garlic, roll it up and cook it, and it's very, very delicious. So with pruning, you don't waste anything. You just use everything for a particular purpose. And in the same way, as a lifelong learner and as a Toastmaster, for instance, we learn to prune certain words out of our speeches. A lot of the filler words, such as so and ums, we learn to remove those and prune those out of our speech and really focus and be very direct in what we want to say. One of the things that I also did as a speaker, and when I was appearing in court, the judges would always say, we don't want all these emotional words. Get rid of all those emotional words. Get to the point. We only have a few minutes. We have 100 cases. We got to get through all these cases. And that's one thing I had to learn as an advocate in the courtroom for children. In addition, I became a master gardener when I moved to this area in 2010. I went through a year-long training, and it's called Washington State University Master Gardeners. And it's always used as an acronym that we will be called WSU-MG, and that means the acronym for Washington State University Master Gardeners. And we work with the public. We try to teach people about gardening. And I learned how to garden from my grandparents, tried to apply those principles, but then I learned additional life skills through the Master Gardener program. What's very interesting about pruning is that a lot of the things that I learned about pruning in gardening through the WSU Master Gardener program, and then also with Toastmasters, there's a lot of these same principles, these lifelong learning skills to help us be better at what we do. I also will will prune things in, just the way I raised my children. I pruned things out and got directly to the point when I was teaching my children life skills. Now they apply those life skills in their life as adults. So one of the additional things, like I pruned my apple trees, and I have a prolific apple trees. It's an espalier apple tree. So espalier means that it's very tightly pruned, the way you would prune bonsai, for instance, because I have a very small garden and I want to be very focused on how I garden because I have limited space. And I've made this espalier apple tree around my patio, so it's a little bit like a fence. And I pruned off all the extra branches that didn't have flowers. I pruned off all the extra branches that didn't have fruit. And then it has this horizontal branches and it makes a wall. And I prune it so that it literally looks like a wall. And it has all these apples on it. And I just sit there, I eat on my patio, I pick apples off my espalier apple tree, and I make a lot of apple pies and things of that sort. But I wanted to just say that as a Toastmaster and as a WSU Master Gardener, as a lifelong learner, that it's important that we take advantage of the skills that we learn, especially here as Toastmasters, and we apply those skills so that we could be better speakers outside our life as Toastmasters. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, for your opportunity to speak and to learn.
Excellent speech, Teresa. Thank you. You're very intentional with your word choice and prolific examples. So thank you. So next up, we have James introducing Corey today with his kind of impromptu icebreaker speech. You guys had a chance to be ready to introduce?
We are all going to be impressed and wait to see the content of Corey's icebreaker.
I love it.
Corey may be included in that group. So we will see. But Corey's going to deliver his, like we said, an impromptu icebreaker speech, and I look forward to hearing it.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters. Is this an honored guest? Do we have an honored guest now? We do. Awesome. So, I guess to James's point, as we were talking about today, that I received a text from Rachel probably, I don't know, an hour and a half ago or something like that, asking me to come up here and do the speech. And this is something that her and I talked about previously. The work that I do around social skills, about everything impromptu, to be involved and taking action to do. So it's a little bit about what this speech is for me today. It is about me and how this shows up and how it came to be, but also in the spirit of all of that is exactly just that. So going back for me, the title of this really today is about Corey Ball, which is who I am, and a life of curiosity, courage. So for as long as I can remember, when I was a little kid, I wanted more than anything to have a sense of like belonging and community. I wanted more than anything to feel connection. And as I was thinking about this and the limited amount of time that I had before getting here today, it's something that I've thought at different times about in the past. But I remember when I was a little kid that making a connection between what it was that I wanted. I remember having the thought at one point that maybe, and this is going to sound horrible, but that maybe I would enjoy going to jail because there's so many people, right? I've got all these friends and they keep together. Yeah, right. Like I just remember looking back at that, and I remember it vividly. Like, yeah, that's an option, right? I hadn't quite put it together yet at that point. Like, you know, everything else that went to jail and that you didn't necessarily get to leave. And those people didn't want to be your friend, maybe. But really, I say that to just show that even from a young age, you know, maybe I didn't really understand the concept or what the impact of how I got my friends would be, but just how important that is. So over the years, as that's developed and grown, you know, and that way of thinking of like, hey, maybe I need to, is anybody having problems with sound? Before we go on, are we good?
Move that cat.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
That might have been something on block.
It was all really good. All you need to. Anyways, over the years, that way of thinking, you know, sometimes that's led me to making really awesome connections, and at times it's also led me to probably trying to make friends and connections and relationships and acting and moving through life in ways that was less than hopeful or supportive. And so over the years, you know, I found that I was going through school and I was developing and making friendships that I started to develop, you know, and this is all retrospective. Back at the moment, I may not have necessarily known it, but at times I found myself really becoming whoever it was that I needed to be in the moment in order to make those friendships and those relationships. And you know, that left me a lot of times from being authentic, from being who it was that I wanted to be. And, you know, if I wanted to, for instance, to come up here and speak in front of people, I wouldn't do that because I'd be afraid that maybe what I said would be taken wrongly for people and wouldn't like me or whatever those sort of things were. And so over the years, that really, you know, if we speaking or going back to what Teresa talked a little bit about the vine, if you follow that vine through years and how it goes back, it really left me, you know, I say kind of a chameleon at times of being whoever I needed to be in the moment in order to make those friendships and connections. So with that though, that left me not having hard conversations. It left me at times not having good conversations. And as that transpired over the years, I realized for myself that left me in a relationship where I got into it probably for the reasons that I wasn't unhappy. And there were aspects of it that I wasn't being fully honest and transparent about. Just how I felt in it. And so it was probably about 7 years ago when I really started to notice this. And I made a choice then to really kind of change the way that I interacted with myself and the world around me. And I took it upon myself, and I didn't know what it was, essentially, like what the change was going to be, but I know that something changed. And I think I started in therapy to begin with, but not long after that, I was researching, you know, really studying at an intimate level. How it is that I communicate, right? How do I make eye contact? How do I continue a conversation? How do I introduce myself? So these are all things that I was terrified of all of my life. And so I was really studying things from a very surface level. How do I make eye contact? How do I say the right thing? If I'm going to introduce myself to somebody, I want to make sure it's the right thing. If God forbid, I say the wrong thing and then this all backfires and they don't like it. I'm like, okay, that's great. I'm going through it. I'm having some success. Things are working good. But what I continue to find is that over and over again, that there's no formula. You know, I don't know if I say something to one person, some person might react differently, so I'm not always going to know the right thing to say. What I found was that it was less about what it was that I did say and more about the internal beliefs, the confidence, and the things like that. In order to walk into any space or to any person and be able to introduce myself. And with that knowledge, I've since moved to a certified professional coach, and I support people full time in confidence and social skills. And that's not just from the, hey, how to go introduce yourself, how to make friends as an adult. It's getting back to the core of things. It's talking about, remaining in the present moment, talking about your values, talking about the thoughts that we're having, things like that. So, in closing, I really just want to say that I've appreciated my opportunity to get up here and to challenge myself today, Mitchell, and to the group, and share my story. So.
Up, everybody. We got to stand up.
Stand
This
up,
is
girl.
Icebreaker.
Always stand up.
Icebreaker.
I love how jail was an option,
That's great.
Kind of shows that really explored a lot of things.
Ended up in jail.
I appreciate that. Well, next up on the agenda is table topics. James can come on up and with us.
Absolutely. Right. I won't select and direct anybody like I said a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago maybe. But if anybody's interested in taking on a table topic, I've got a couple of questions that we have to. Justin, look at that. Ready to start that. Thanks, Justin, for volunteering. So, very important question for you. Milk chocolate or dark chocolate? And why is everybody who disagrees with your opinion wrong?
I'm just gonna take a neutral stance on this one.
Oh, okay.
I've been doing it because I care what anybody thinks. You'd ask my colleague Tori here, I am non-partial to candy. If it is chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, it's all good. I will eat it all day long. I really like a bag of Costco candy. I pick through that. In fact, I like a little bit of each. I don't want to get a big Snickers bar or a big lumpy bar. I prefer a little bit of each. So if anybody disagrees with me, that's okay. I can agree with you. We can eat the same candy. I'm okay with that. But I eat lots of candy. Anybody knows me, that is my treat. And I share them. So I got a candy dish at my desk. I'm willing to share with people. So if anybody wants chocolate, dark or milk,
Where is it?
enough, I ate it. I ate it on the way. You weren't here early enough. You weren't here early enough. Help me set up and pay and share. I had a bag and then might have got one or two. That's all I can share today.
Anybody else up for Buffy? My goal today is to see how divided I can make the room. Just so there's an understanding. Buffy, the question is simple. Night owl or early bird?
Night owl. Well, from a personal perspective, I'm an early bird. I seem to be able to get up with no problem at 6 o'clock in the morning. By 10:30, 11, I'm fading. Actually, if I'm holding still, I'm probably asleep. But I do have that 4:30 nap time, which is another of those. If I'm holding still, I'm probably asleep, even if I'm driving. Apparently, when you're getting a sleep assessment, they want to know, do you fall asleep at stoplights? Not yet, but that could indicate that my sleep is not as good as I would like it to be. I find the morning to be most productive for myself. I just do a lot of reading, learning, internal work in those early hours with my coffee that I don't get later on in the day where it's just take care of tasks. So I personally think the early bird is catching the worm. And it's a gummy worm.
One more? Okay, got time for one more? Anyone online? Oh,
I have my hand raised.
okay.
Let's give the non-speaker.
So I saw Kathy,
Okay.
did you physically raise your hand there?
Yeah, I did raise my
Kathy.
hand, but
We're gonna go to Kathy on this one.
Kathy raised her hand with her real hand, so go
Right.
ahead, Kathy.
Okay, so Kathy, at a picnic, are you going for the hot dog or are you going for the hamburger?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I'll have to say neither. I don't eat meat.
Veggie?
However, if I had to go for a hot dog that was vegan, I would grab the hot dog. If I were grabbing the sausage, it would be maybe a Beyond Burger. However, I'm finding that those are not the best for my body. I'm very prolific with eating desserts, though. If you were to ask me about desserts and chocolate, that would be my forte. That is what I would start with, the desserts, and then I would go to the main course because by then I might not even need it. Looking at those sausages though, just thinking back how I used to eat, I could see myself chowing down on a nice big juicy bratwurst or hot dog, something like that. I do like the smell of it. It smells good, but eating it isn't quite in my system anymore because I've extinguished it for so long. I can't imagine getting back into it. Hot dog would be my first choice if it were vegan. Thank you.
Thank you.
James, thanks for leading table topics today. I love table topics. It reveals how unique everybody is today. It's a lot of fun. So Kathy, since you're next up on the list and you're blown up on our screen since you were just talking, but if you'd like to go over Teresa's evaluation.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, specifically Teresa Staal-Cowley. I really enjoy hearing you speak. I would say you are an experienced speaker, knowing you from being a CASA and seeing you present in court. You're very well versed and knowledgeable and can present all of the information and lay it out in a fantastic way. I want to start with what I saw you excelled at. So I'll do the good, better, best. The best part, I think, was the graphic, the prop that you held up, the green grapevine. You showed the leaves and the vine, as well as explaining the various ways that you can use it. I really appreciate that. The green actually showed up very brilliantly on the screen. You changed your lighting at the beginning so we could see you a little more clearly because it was pretty dark at first. So you're very receptive to presenting yourself in the best light. So that was very, very brilliant of you. Other things that you excelled on, your topic, you laid your topic all the way through your speech in terms of pruning, and life pruning in the garden pruning. You brought that all the way through. And I love how you said get to the point. That's another way of pruning with your words. I love how you wove that in because that gave me a new perspective on pruning, taking those words away, which we do in Toastmasters. That was brilliant. And the rate of your speech, the way that you speak, you have a nice rhythm to your speaking. It's like a melody. I could listen to it like a song. So you have a very good melody, a methodical way of speaking. Very, very good. It takes a good skill, it takes a skilled speaker to be able to do that. And the way, again, that you gave the various examples, I thought that was masterful. So you're very easy to listen to. Some things that you might want to consider working on, since you're talking about pruning, it would have been great to see an actual pruning device, maybe some shears or something that you actually use to prune with. Although you gave those good examples in speaking, I think since you held the actual physical vine that you would prune, it would have been great to see the shears, to see that application. Another thing is I saw your eyes tend to look up. I don't know if you were looking up as you're thinking or if you were looking up at something, but during the speech, there was a lot of looking away. I don't know if it was noticeable for you or not. And the last thing is the hands, which I'm doing. A lot of waving of the hands. However, the best part of the hands is you used it to demonstrate the vine, you used it to demonstrate various things. So you're very good at using your hands specifically when you're speaking on something. But when you're thinking, like I process while I'm speaking, then the hands tend to take on their own natural light. So in the end, great. Oh, one more thing, call to action. I didn't hear a call to action. If you did, I may have missed it. But overall, great. You are a great presenter. You brought your props. You showed very, very good enthusiasm. Your rate of speech is powerful. I really enjoy you speaking. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Kathy.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy, for that evaluation. Next up, we have evaluation for speech James. So we're doing that today. One of it.
Thank you. Corey, it was great to hear your impromptu icebreaker speech this morning, or this afternoon, I guess. I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to start with the improvement. This is the first icebreaker speech I've seen, and if this is what they're going to be with an hour's notice, it's really setting the bar high. so I was just, kind of, reverse there, but I really liked. I mean, I don't know how if you had that speech prepared and you dusted it off, or if that was truly, hours notice, you kind of telling your story. But it was you appeared very relaxed, and I thought that was great. I liked that when you started, you gave us the introduction of thinking about action and making change for yourself. I also, even better than that, as you spoke on, again, speaking to how relaxed you were, your callback to Teresa's speech was just this, it was right up there with word of the day, right? And I should have the word of the day written down. I wrote it down on that paper. Prolific. Thank you. I can't claim that one. But yeah, your ability to just pull that back showed how relaxed, but also while maintaining focus, you were on the message that you had to deliver. If I was to say one thing for improvement, it would probably be, again, a call to action. I think it was there, just showing by example what you have done and how you have been intentional in your life. But I didn't hear a direct call or a more direct call to action. And I think that would be the one spot where I would say that was something you can maybe pull in a little bit more so that people walk away with something that they can act on themselves.
Thanks, James. You've done a lot with last minute notice as well.
Yeah.
Incredible. So thank you for taking that on today. Next, we're going to move on to the general evaluator, Brandy.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. As your general evaluator, I'm about to give you a 2 to 3 minute evaluation of the meeting, and then I will call up the timer in the Icebreaker. So first I want to say we did a good job of getting roles filled, and we only started like a minute late, even with all of that. And we still had time for table topics. We don't often have time for table topics when we have 2 speakers, but if we are concise in our speeches, if we're concise in our transitions and all of that stuff, we can fit it in. So wonderful job, club. The thing that we need to work on, I think, the most as a hybrid club is the sound quality. It's really hard for those of us online to hear about half of the people speaking. Corey and Tori, your voices, there's just something about your voices. It's just hard to pick up online. And it's not, I don't know that it's necessarily the volume. It could be, I can't tell. Maybe it's just like, sometimes electronics, the way they pick up different tones. but there's no problem hearing those of us on Zoom. I can hear everybody else on Zoom just fine, but for about half of the people in the room, it could be louder. So I don't know, maybe we can work on that or tech a little bit. Maybe we need a better speaker. Maybe we all need to work on speaking a little bit louder to the back of the room. So we can revisit that. So Tori, you did a great job as Toastmaster. Thank you for stepping in last minute. Wonderful job with your transitions, everything. Kim, your jokes were funny. Thank you for always bringing great levity to the meeting. And then for our evaluators today, Kathy and James, you both did such a good job of the lift them up, give them lots of good information, and then give them something to work on. I really liked, Kathy, that you talked about Teresa being an advanced speaker, of which she is. So it's hard then to find things for her to work on, but she found some stuff to work on with the eyes and the hands, and I appreciated that. And then later in the chat, you told her, oh, hey, and you used the word of the day. So good job. And then James, maybe this is only your second time evaluating. Great job. I can tell the improvement in your evaluation since your last evaluation. You gave Corey a lot of great positive feedback, and you also gave him something to work on with the call to action, which is good. Generally, in an icebreaker speech, we don't try to give too much feedback, and you did just that right amount. You just gave him a little bit of something, but mostly just talked about what he did well. So that's really great for an icebreaker. And then last but not least, James, your table topics were great. They were funny. You got us going, and you did a good job. 2 of the 3 people that you got up to speak, Justin and Buffy, did not have another speaking role. So it's great that they got to speak. Everybody in the meeting had a role today in that way. So with that, I'm going to end my GE, and I am going to call up Zadi as our augmarian. Zadi.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Okay, so Corey, you had several ands, so's, and buts. I was wondering too, in a past club, we've videotaped us during speeches. It's a play back and forth, and so they'll be able to see that. Okay. So, I love your phrase, curiosity, courage, and growth. Those are great, powerful words. And remaining in the present moment. Love that. And of course, jail was an option. That's somebody. James, you had a nose, and a butt. Buffy, you have 1 and 2 ums.
I did.
Rachel. Justin, you had 1 so, and the passion with which you spoke about candy was over the top. Teresa, you had several ands and a couple duplications, 1 so, and 3 words of the day. Great job. And I loved your phrase that you use everything for a particular purpose when you're pruning. And I enjoyed your analogies of pruning and how you wrote that through the speech. Brandy, you had 1 so and 1 but. Happy, you had a word of the day. Tori, you had a word of the day and 2 ums. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Zadi. Next, I would like to call up our timer today, who is Rachel.
Hello, everybody. Okay, times today. Teresa, you were at 6 minutes, and I wanted to apologize if you heard a phone ringing, and apologize to everybody. That was me, and I'm sorry. So the timing might be just a little not quite right. Corey, you were at 7:15. It's 15 seconds over. So good job in wrapping it up when you saw the evaluations. Kathy, you were at 3:30. James, I forgot. Sorry to time you.
That's a relief because I saw 57 seconds on your phone as I sat down,
Oh,
and I
like,
thought there's no way I was only talking for
Yeah,
57 seconds.
fiddling with my phone. Brandy, you were at 3 minutes for table topics. Justin, I was laughing and so outraged that you weren't going to make a commitment to milk chocolate or dark chocolate. I didn't quite start in time, so I'd say about a minute. Buffy, you were a minute 20. Kathy, a minute 12. So everybody was pretty much in time. And that's my timers report. Back to you. I guess we're done. Brandy, I don't.
Yeah, you can send it back to me and then I'll flip it right back to you.
Okay.
So thank you, Rachel, for that wonderful timers report. And with that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to our president, Rachel Kammerer. Rachel.
What an amazing club we have, because this was a pretty darn good high value meeting today. Everything happened in the last minute. So thank you everybody for stepping in. I love it. Jacob, this is your third visit.
Yeah.
Would you like to come up here and would you like a table topic, or do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? What would you want to try some impromptu?
Sure.
Let's see. James, I think that's a big back pocket question. Got a good question for Jacob?
I got one more question on my divide the room.
I'll let that.
Jacob, is it Apple or Android? And why is that the only right answer?
No, Android, that's not Samsung.
Phone, yeah, Samsung would be,
Gotta be Android.
gotta be Android.
Android, I found that when I was dealing with the iPhone, it was much more, I want to choose my words wisely, childproof. And when I moved over to the Android, it was much more like business functional, and things that I could not do with iPhone that I needed for business, I could do with Android. So I prefer the Android for business.
Okay.
I agree. Not that I ever touched them all.
That's awesome. All right. So what I forgot to do last week, sorry, was to fill the role. So if you don't mind, everybody will go through these for next week. So does anybody want to take a role?
Speak up so the people online can hear.
Okay, so Toastmaster is going to be Zadi.
Good for you, Zadi.
Table topics, Tori. Would anybody like to give a?
I'll give my icebreaker speech.
All right, James.
That's done. Now that the bar's been set.
I'll give a speech. This is Brandy.
Okay. And would anybody like to evaluate James's icebreaker or Brandy?
I'll evaluate.
Okay.
Somebody. James.
All right.
Justin trying to evaluate James. Would anybody like to evaluate Brandy's speech? I think it's pulled everybody.
Don't all jump at once.
Not sure if I'll be here. I'm not sure if I'll be here. If I am, I will.
Okay, Kathy, I'll just be your backup in case you're not able to be here then.
Great idea. I'll put my title and my introduction on the agenda.
Okay, And then, let's see, so we've got, oh, and general evaluator, would somebody like to do that? Teresa, are you gonna be here?
Yes.
Do you mind taking the GE role?
Okay, I'll do general evaluator.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, we can fill the timer and grammarian the day of. We needed to get the kind of the meat rules here, got everybody in. So,
I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks, so I won't be. I have a request.
Yeah.
Thank you. As the new secretary, I'm filling out this little form each week. This will be information for the whole club on who's caring for all the roles, who's taking all the roles, what are the names of the 2 speeches so that people can follow along. They can remember, when did I give that speech? Is it what pathway am I on? So this is allowing people to track more comprehensively their own personal path. And also things like who's the impromptu speeches, so the table topics, right? Just writing down the table topics so people know what we've talked about. Would anyone care to take on this role for the next 3 weeks?
Being the scribe.
Yeah. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's basically what you're writing in your own notes a lot of the time, but this would be information for the whole club to share.
Mhm.
If we haven't done it before, so if we don't pick it up thoroughly until I get home from my travels, that's okay too. But I just wanted to offer that
If
as an
somebody wants to
opportunity.
do it, I can go ahead and do that.
And if you want me to do it, also, we could split it up between
Yeah.
other Toastmasters as well.
I'll just leave these in the folder in the box for
Just thinking we have to remember.
Yeah, the good thing is we record these things, so if it's like,
That's
press
true.
it, you can go back and.
if you want to go through all that, listening, you can do that.
As good as the
It's
speeches
just that
are.
from my training, this is what I learned. This is what secretaries are supposed to do.
It's a great idea, Buffy. That's good.
One of the things that the officer meeting we had our officer meeting last week. We didn't get to all the stuff that was on the agenda, but it's kind of nice to get a summary, I think, of what we did in the meeting. With kind of highlights and also to encourage people to come in and vote.
And if there's club decisions that are made here, then they're logged somewhere
Yes.
so that
Whole
the
club will-
president can come back and look at it. Oh, that's right, we talked about doing this. So with that in mind, the orientation event
Oh, yeah.
is an ongoing conversation. about
Yes,
that.
we need to announce that every week until we have it, which is, I'm sorry, what's the date again?
It's 30th of
July
July,
30th.
and we've gotten 2 people who can't come. Saudi said she might be able to come, and Justin won't be able to. And there's somebody sent an email to you about that, but
I guess, I know people don't like email, but maybe we could send out an email to all the members.
Yeah. I did send it in an email
Oh, yeah.
to all the members.
I guess the weird thing about that, so when I reply, does it go to somebody,
It goes to me.
even though it's members 4681?
Yeah, well, I got
You do, okay.
Corey's.
Sometimes some of those you don't get them.
And it's because it's to, not by secretary,
I don't know.
so, okay. If anybody, so we're gonna see everybody in a couple of weeks for our new member orientation. Does anybody have any other announcements? Anyone to share anything?
I'd like to raise up what we talked about at the officers meeting was how much fun it's going to start. I mean, it's not that it hasn't been fun before, but there's going to be some changes in the structure of the meet. Once a week, once a month, we're going to have a theme, this kind of thing. So Rachel's bringing a new energy to the club that I invite you guys to really step into, and they'll be required dress up. No,
I did that last week and it was hilarious. Yes. So funny, but yeah, so we're hoping to change up things just to make them a little more exciting. That's an idea.
Yeah.
All right, there's no other business. I'm going to.
We could-
Okay.
What?
Oh, Brandy, did you have?
Oh, I was just gonna say I have a couple of items, but we could end the meeting and stop the recording, and then I can bring those up real quick.
Officially dismissed.
Dismissed.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I also attended the training last night. I saw